Hi guys, and welcome to another episode of Cooper's Commercial Match Angling. Today you join me at a new venue. It's the lovely Eden Grange Fisheries. I haven't visited this fishery many times. This is probably my third time, but it's a stunning place. It's got loads of facilities and a lot of ongoing work. They've done some great work already, but basically this place, it's got lovely pods that you can stay in over the weekend with hot tubs. It's got teepees being erected, 3 new teepees for overnight stays. They're in the process of building a new tackle shop, purpose-built tackle shop with a new toilet block. It's got a bar, purpose-built bar already with a lovely seating area outside so you can have a pint after your match. Great, absolute great place. There's 3 main lakes on this place. There's the match pond, which is holds 13 pegs, and it's generally where the matches are held, along with the lake that I'm on today. We've got Runs Water Pond, which is mainly the big carp pond. It holds fish up to 20 pound. It's where mainly the carp lads go and fish. And then the lake I'm on today is the lovely Hackworth lake, and this also holds matches, and it's full of little stocky carp, eyed, chub, little tench, roach, rudd. It's absolutely rammed with fish. And I was here on Sunday fishing a match, and I chose to fish maggots that day. I've ended up third in the match with 44 pound, had loads of bites, plenty of fish, but felt like I should have fished pellets that day. I drew the top end of the lake, peg 46, which supposedly is the wrong end of the lake. The fish are normally down the other end, and it proved so, because the match was won with 78 pound and second place was 48 pound. And they were on the two. One lad was on the end peg who won the match, and the other lad who was second was on the next peg up. So it proved so. So basically I've come back today to the middle of the lake on the opposite bank to where I was on Sunday, and I'm going to basically show you how I would fish pellets and try and work out whether the decision I made to fish maggots was incorrect and I should have fished pellets. So it's a glorious day, lovely sunshine, so let's get a bit of fishing done. I'll talk you through how I'm going to approach the peg, plumbing up, and basically how to feed and fish hard pellets and soft pellets. Let's get some fishing done. Right guys, so as I explained what I'm going to do today, I'm going to fish hard and soft pellets. So these fish in these lakes, obviously stock fish, they're so used to seeing pellets. That's what they get fed by anglers, and mainly, you know, what they've been reared on. So I know this lake plumbs up about 3.5 foot at the top end, down to about 4.5 foot in the deepest areas. It's bright sunny day today. I've already seen some fish moving, so I'm going to try and find 3 foot of water, which I've already had a quick plumb up. So basically you've got 4 foot full depth, you've got 2 distinct ledges about 3 foot and 2 foot, and then it comes up right up shallow to the bank. So I'm going to target that 3 foot area to start and see whether we can catch these fish in that 3 foot rather than going out long into the deep water or coming into the edges where the fish might not come yet. Still only April, so you know these fish are on the feed because they're like young fish, so they're very hungry fish. So we're going to start in 3 foot. I'm just going to show you how I plumb up. I'll show you my rigs later on. I've only set one rig up, simple rig with a bulk, but I'll talk you through that later on. Side tray, I've only got, it's fishery feed pellets here only, so I've got 4mm hard fishery feed pellets. I've also softened a few, and then I've just got some different size 5 and 4mm hard pellets as hook baits that I can fish on a band or a lasso, and then some 4mm expanders. I'm going to start on the 4mm expanders because I know these fish probably like a softer bait, and I'm going to start by tapping in the 4mm fishery pellets. But firstly I'll just show you how I plumb up, because when I'm pellet fishing I always plumb up to just the bottom of the body or half the float, so not quite dead depth, just with maybe half an inch lane on the bottom. So I'll show you that now. I've chose this area, which is 2+2 down to my left, and hopefully the camera will pick that up. I've got a far bank marker, I've got the pole on the elbow, the end of the pole on the elbow, on my elbow, and I'm just going to line up with my far bank marker. Hopefully you'll be able to see I've got the full body of the float, or 3/4 of the body of the float, just out, and there's a nice ledge just starts to come up round about there. So I've chose to fish this area here. As I say, an inch of line on the bottom. You can see I've got a really short lash so I can control my float, and I've also got the fish has just bumped into the plummet there. I hope the camera's picked that up. Shows you that they're basically attacking, because I'm clouding the bottom up, they're attacking that plummet, and it's basically that depth for a good sort of 10 inches, and then it just slowly goes away. So as you can see, perfectly plumbed up to the bottom of the body. Right, now let's go in and have our first feed. I think this is going to be good because there's a fish already tried to eat my plummet, believe it or not. So we'll just roll a foreman expander on, and I'm going to start by feeding. The thing with pellet fishing, it's all about how much you feed. So I'm going to start by feeding just 6 4mm hard pellets. Count them in my hand, drop them into the pot, and always make sure that you dunk your pot just to wet them pellets to make sure they all sink. Not worried about my rig at the moment, as long as my rig's laid out into the deeper water. Line up with my elbow, line up with my far bank marker, and this is the important thing. I'm just going to sneak these pellets in, and then literally lift my rig straight into them pellets. You need to be on that bait immediately, because they just come straight in and attack them pellets immediately. Hopefully the camera will pick up that our float's dotted right down as well. Right, so we're set there. The reason I sneak them pellets in is if I tap them from a height, just wait for that train to go past. If I tap them from a height, what basically happens is the noise of them pellets, because there's so many fish in here, they'll probably look up and come straight at them pellets, and I don't want to get any liners. I'm fishing in 3 foot of water, so I basically do not want any liners. So I'll have the trap set, no lifting and dropping. I've tapped in 6 4mm pellets, and we're just going to sit. There we go, first drop in, and we've hooked a fish. Lovely little fast dink, no liners whatsoever. We've got our first fish. Perfect start really, couldn't have been any better. Nice little stocky, probably about 10 ounces. Oh, that fish is freezing cold, hooked perfectly in the top lip. Whoops. Lovely, juggled with that one, a lovely little stocky carp. Just sneak him back. So another little rule of this fishery is you've got to net every fish, trying to protect the fish. They don't want them thrown around, so you've got to net every fish from 2 or 3 ounce rod up to, I think the carp go up to about £8 in here, but the majority average between 10 ounce to £1.5. And then just repeat that process again. Lay your rig out into the deeper water, not really interested in that. Line up with my elbow on the back of my pole, and then just, as I say, sneak them pellets in. Seeing how quick that bite was, you don't want to be starting to make a noise at all. Pull my rig over, let them straighten out, and then slowly down. You see I've just got it dotted right down, and that back shot just helps me keep it right pinned in position. Short lash, we're waiting for a short sharp dink, and just a little lift, no big strikes. Just lift the pole about 2 or 3 inches. If we hook a fish, great. If not, we can just lower the rig straight back in over that pile. The reason I haven't put a sprinkle lid on it and I've chosen not to feed micros is simply because there's that many fish in here. I don't want them to go crackers on the micros, so I'm starting on the hard pellet, which I think will be right, but with a soft hook bait. If it was a real bagging session, what I tend to do is fish probably a lassoed pellet, so you can catch, you know, 10 or 20 fish on the same bait without having to change it if it was a fish race, which I think in the summer on this lake it probably will be. It's probably all going to be shallow fishing as well and down your edges. There we go, a nice little dink again. Fish number 2. Keep the pole nice and low like I say in all my videos. And what have we got this time? Another little stocky. Tiny little common this time. But hooks come out in the net. So a tiny little stocky, about 4 ounces. So as I said, this place is absolutely rammed with fish. But at the moment you can see now that feeding of them 6 pellets, you know, seems perfect. I'm not getting any indications, I'm not getting any liners, I'm just getting a fish come in, sucking my soft pellet in, nice little ding and hooked and away, even in 3 foot of water. So we'll just keep going like this, and then what I'll show you, if it changes, if we stop getting fish coming in, what we can do is we can lift our pot a little bit higher and we can rattle them pellets on the surface and it'll draw some fish in again, or we can up the feed so we can put more pellets in. But I just think because of the numbers of fish that are in this lake, basically we need to be feeding the smallest amount of bait possible, which is what pellet fishing is all about, to draw 1 fish into your peg or a couple of fish into your peg and get a proper bite. The more you feed, you can be leaving pellets on the bottom, you can create too many fish in your peg, too many liners, too much selection for the fish. So it's the right amount of pellets in the right depth of water. Tiniest little pimple on that float. What you don't want to be doing, you don't want to be striking at any like wafty movements of the float wafting around. You're waiting for that short little dink, sharp little dink, like that again. Another fish on. Absolutely solid, unbelievable this fishing. At the moment I know I'm the only person on the lake and we are pleasure fishing, so I think every fish is going to come to us if they're hungry enough. But I think the decision of fishing maggots, as I said on Sunday, was probably the wrong choice. These fish see pellets every day. Oh, look at this, a lovely tench. Absolute cracking tench. Hooked again, perfectly in the top lip, which is what we're looking for. Just jumped out there and gone into its bottom lip. A lovely little tench, probably about £1, just over £1. Absolutely gorgeous fish. Stunning fish here at Eden Grange Fisheries. Brilliant. So I'm going to continue on fishing. If anything changes we'll come back, but basically what I'm trying to show is feeding the minimum amount of bait, setting your rig, straightening them pellets as quickly as you possibly can, so when them fish rush in to grab the pellets you've got probably a 15-second window of getting that little dink. You've seen how quick the bites are coming. It's all about feeding the right amount of bait and presenting the bait into the peg the correct way, so not tapping it from a height, sneaking it in. Unless you're not getting bites, then sprinkling it in with it from a height, making that bit of noise can draw you some fish in. We haven't got that problem today, it's absolutely rammed this place. Let's crack on and do a bit more fishing. Pound and a bit. Absolutely stunning fish. Beautiful. Couldn't even get the rig in then. Pulled it out my hand. So you can see that feeding pattern, you can see how quick them fish are coming in. absolutely rushing in. That one's a little chub. There you go, lovely little chub. Probably around about 6-8 ounce. Give it another 30 seconds, and then if not, we'll just repeat the process and feed again. Fish have been at the peg that fast, just emptied it out. That's why it's so important to get your rig straight on top of them pellets. Oh, we've caught one. Waited longer for a bite, but we've caught another fish, and again, you know, perfectly in the mouth. See what this is. Have a little stocky. So you can see, I think the biggest match weight in 6 hours on these is about 150 pounds. And you can see, you know, you can put a proper weight of these fish together. It's all about getting everything set up smoothly, getting your rigs correct, your rollers correct, so that you can put them sort of weights together. The main thing I've come to show you today really is just how important it is to find the right depth, feed the right number of pellets and feed them in the correct way. That's sort of the point that I'm trying to get across today. We've come to this place where, you know, great fishing, we can get bites instantly, but also you can make it go very, very wrong by feeding too much bait and making too much noise. I'm not going to change anything now. I'm just going to continue on fishing until something changes, and then if it does, I'll come back to you and I'll show you, hopefully, how I can put it right. And that move will probably be either fishing shallow, which I'm probably not going to show you today, or coming into shallower water, which we can do. So we'll see how this goes. If we start getting liners and problems, basically all we're going to do is we're just going to come into from that 3 foot of water into 2 foot of water, see if we can catch them there. But at the moment this is perfect. I wouldn't change anything. Sneaking them 6 pellets in, sitting and waiting, getting lovely sharp dinks. Perfect fishing, great fishing here at Eden Grange. A lovely white hydro today, which is a 6 to 10 elastic, hollow elastic. Another little carp. And we're fishing a nice little Malman Secret float with a 1.2mm bristle, 4x12s, got a 4-inch hook length, and I've just got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 number 10s on that rig. These Malman floats take a little bit more. Beautiful little stocky carp, about a pound, cracking fishing. Right guys, you might notice I'm wearing a new cap today. Big shout out to the boys, Rob Wotton and Lee Kerry, www.anglingedge.co.uk. Great subscription fishing channel with some great anglers giving you some great tips. Get on it now. The Edge. So there you go, a lovely little carp to end on. Get yourself down to the lovely Eden Grange Fisheries, Shildon, County Durham. If you've enjoyed this episode, don't forget to like, share and subscribe to my channel. And don't forget, as always, scoop them in your net.